Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're out in the backyard whipping up a batch of jerky, and I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison with my Bradley smoker, which is just a small refrigerator type smoker, and the new Pit Boss 4-in-1 that I got for Father's Day this year. So I haven't used it yet. I've seasoned it, burnt all the oils and stuff off of it, and got it ready. And I thought, hey, let's whip up some jerky and let's see how these things work smoker to smoker. They're both electric, so they should be pretty close. And one uses wood chips and one uses pre-formed pucks to feed in. So we'll see what the comparison is. It's going to take all day, but that's how I do jerky. So I'll flip this around and we'll get right after it. Alright, so just to show you the two units here, this is the Memphis Ultimate Pit Boss. This thing is massive. Other propane barbecue basically just rotted out. That's what they do after years and years of sitting out in the weather. Especially up here in Canada, they're covered in snow for 8 months of the year, and then you get to use them for 3. But this here has got a propane side. So that's your propane side. We did use it the first night. We fired it up, burned all the oils and stuff off of it, and we cooked some smokies on it after we got this thing built. And then on this side here, this is the charcoal side, and I've done a couple steaks on it, but that's about it. And then down here in the bottom is the smoker. So see if you can see that. And this is the wood chip tray. So this is electric. There's baffles here that allow the air to up through this side and up through that side, and then there's also baffles there obviously for the charcoal, and then the stack on the top. The back side has also got an airflow vent that I'll probably leave everything wide open in here for a little while. I won't put wood chips in it just yet, because what I like to do is I like to run my jerky just with some small heat, just to kind of dry everything out a little bit. For about an hour, hour and a half before I actually hit the smoke to it. And so that's what I'm going to do with that one. So we'll head over here. Let's see if you can see that. Now this is my old Bradley. I've had this thing for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, I guess. And it has been a workhorse. It's also taken a freaking beating. The wind has blown it off the table, and it's blowing it over, and the door was knocked off of it, and I had to do some repairs on it. But these things here are just a 4-tray system. It's got a puck feeder here, feeds across on the tray. This tray is heated, starts to burn the wood, makes the smoke. So pretty simple little system. And again, same thing with this, is I turn it on really low, get the heat going in there, maybe about 100 degrees or whatever, and I let that just kind of go for an hour, hour and a half, until the very surface of my jerky starts to dry, and then I'll hit it with the smoke. And I try not to get it above 140 degrees or whatever, which is going to be tricky with the new one because I haven't used it yet. But I did run it through some temperature cycles and stuff, but with the meat in there, that's not going to be very accurate. And you can see that I've got tape here, and that hinge was busted off, but this thing has been amazing. So let's go over to the table and we'll get everything kind of set up. Okay, so I got a bag of wood chips here, hickory. Just picked up a small bag from my local Home Hardware, and that's what we'll use in the Pit Boss. And I'll pack the tray right full when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet. These are the Bradley pucks. These are hickory as well. So if you've never seen these are just a, I don't know, 2-inch, I guess, round pre-formed puck. It takes 2 to get it fed into the machine, so I'll probably use 8 or 10 of these, and that should give me a couple hours of smoke. The research that I've done says that a full tray of wood chips in the Pit Boss will give you about 2.5 hours to 3 hours of smoke. So that should work out about perfectly. I'm going to throw some peppers in there too that I grew in the greenhouse just for shits and giggles, and we'll eat those later. So right here I've got 4 pounds of jerky that I've already seasoned and marinated for a day in the fridge. I used to use High Mountain seasoning packages, and then I just started making my own. Just bought the curing salts and started making my own seasonings because it's way cheaper. So this meat here is cut actually at the butcher. We get it done easy. It's way easier that way in 2-pound packages, and that way we can just freeze it and it's ready to go. They don't charge us any extra, and so that works out good. Let's get some trays loaded up and we'll get them in these smokers and get things rolling. See, these are nice big long pieces. They're about 1/4 inch thick, I guess. Get some of that fat off of there. And so what happens is once these are done, I will just take and cut them into smaller pieces so that my kids don't devour them as fast as they think they should. Now we're going to have lots of tray space today, so we're going to go fairly light and give it lots of air room. These are the Bradley trays. Now you can do them like this if you're doing chicken wings or whatever, so it's more of a basket. I like to flip these over for jerky just because it comes off a little bit easier, because everything does stick a little bit, right, because it's wet. So I don't know if I'm going to get 4 trays on this thing or not, but yeah, we'll do a few pieces on each and we'll go from there. So we got them loaded up. Once this runs for a little while, I'm going to pull this grate out and I'm going to put some water in there before I start smoking. So we're going to, you can see the back flue in there. Close this up, make sure that these are open, make sure that's all the way open. Give that a spin and make sure that it's open. So now what this is doing is it's allowing all the air just to run up through the grills, and hot air rises. Science class. All right, so we're gonna turn this on now. Now all the way to the right, I guess, is high, and so we want to turn that just so that it's on low, and then we'll keep, you can see there it says low, so then we'll keep an eye on the temperature here and we'll see what this does in the next few minutes. If it only, I only want it to just basically touch here, and then we'll run this for an hour and let it do its thing. You can't really see in the daylight that that's on, but you can kind of catch the blue glow, so I know that that's good. At night, obviously, that'd probably look pretty cool. All right, and there's the trays for the Bradley smoker. Now, there is a couple pucks in there already, but those won't feed yet until we get the biscuit advance. So I'm gonna turn this thing on, and I know that about the second notch there is gonna give me about 100 degrees. And so we'll close the lid. We've got all the vents wide open. We'll let that do its thing. And we'll see you back here in an hour and a half. Okay, so we've been an hour and a half, and yeah, tops are dry. This one here is sitting just a touch over 100 degrees, so that's good. I guess I got my temperatures figured out. Walk over here to the Bradley. A little bit higher here, but it also is sitting in the full sun as well, so that's going to affect things a little bit. Yeah, you can see the tops are dry, so we'll add the pucks in here, and we'll let her buck for a while. So like I said, it takes 2 pucks to get it going, so there's 2 there. So I'm going to put a stack of 8 in here, and then I'm going to hit the advance button, and that'll push this puck onto the burner, and away she'll go. So we'll end up with 2 pucks that aren't burnt by the time the cycle's over. So these are super easy. Line them up in the tube. Super easy as I fumble with it. That's 4. And it doesn't matter. It's not an exact science. They burn for about 20 minutes. So, you know, if you want 12, put in 12. They'll just burn until they run out to the last 2, and that'll be the end of it. So now we're going to close this flue up a little bit, or vent, I don't care what you want to call it. We'll leave a little opening in there to let some stuff escape. Advance. And then I've also got this bowl with water in it. So we'll just let that kind of sit. I think that's the perfect temperature where we want it. It dropped obviously because the door was open. And we'll let those run out. We'll see what we end up with. Alright, here's our wood chip tray. Well, I think a lot of people will soak their wood chips. I'm not sure why. I guess it makes them last longer, smokes better. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do that. I might mess around with this a little bit later. And I have done wood chip stuff just in a teepee smoker. And you can wet them down there, but usually use finer stuff, like almost like sawdust. And it produces a really thick smoke, and that's what you want in a teepee smoker. But we'll load this thing right up as good as we can anyways. Yeah, apparently that's going to be it. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to turn this up to about medium, which I'm going to guess is about there. And then we're going to close these off and let it do its thing. We'll get you back here in a couple hours. Okay, we're about an hour and a half into the smoking process. This thing is putting out some really nice smoke. The temperature is up a little bit higher than I want it to be, but I'm just going to leave it there because it is producing a nice smoke right now. Yeah, that's beautiful. So we're going to let that go probably for another hour because everything still seems a little bit moist, I guess, a little bit damp still, a little too soft. I want that to be dried out enough to where it's actually got a good bite to it when you bite into it. So that's working really nicely. You can see the smoke's moving up through here and up through the stack. All right, so into the Bradley, we are actually sitting a little bit higher than I want, but I'm not going to turn it down. I'm just going to let it go. I'll just open this up a little bit more to let some heat out. But again, making some really nice smoke here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but getting a really good color on it. So we'll let this go for a little bit longer too. Looks like we're down to 2 pucks. So probably another hour of smoke. Okay, so it's 3:30, so this has been 3.5 hours, and this is totally burnt up. So that's good. That was great, about 3 hours worth of smoke. And the jerky looks really good. It's nice and soft. Yeah, excellent. These peppers are going to be sweet when I chop them up in the salad. So yeah, very nice. I think it'll go longer if a person loads it up more, but that makes really nice jerky. So 4.5 hours, 5 hours I guess it's been since I put those on there. So I started them at 10:30 this morning, went for an hour and a half just to dry them, and then smoked for 3.5. So there you go. My math is really bad. Okay, so let's walk over to the Bradley, and it is, there's the temp there, just a little over 125 degrees, which is fine. It's perfect. And the pieces in here, very nice. Still got some softness to them. They're not all hard. So that's good. And those are about right. That's exactly where we want those. Yeah, got some tenderness to them, and that little pepper looks exactly the same. So now what I do is I'm just going to leave these in here, open the vents up, and just let them cool naturally here for probably a couple hours, and then I'll take everything inside. Okay, so initial thoughts, exactly the same. Electric smoker is electric smoker. I did like, however, the thickness of smoke that I was getting off the wood chips as opposed to the pucks. So that I like a whole lot better. Not so much for making jerky, but I think for making like bigger cuts of meat, chicken breast, chicken wings, brisket, that sort of stuff. I like the wood chips a lot better. I haven't used them in here yet, obviously, because this is the first thing that I've done in it. But as far as capacity goes, I think they're exactly the same. It's a bit of a smaller oven, but because it tapers up, that top tray is like 1.5 trays in that Bradley. So I think the capacity wise, it's a little bit more, which is good. And I think also that if a person was to move some racks around, you could probably do some more things up in the charcoal side of it. I don't think the heat gets so good up there, but you could cold smoke while you were doing other stuff in the bottom, so you know, you get a little bit more double duty there. You could do some boiled eggs, smoke some cheese, I don't know, smoke some salt probably, I guess, while you're doing all that. So initial thoughts, I really like the Pit Boss. I'm not getting rid of the Bradley until it actually like kicks the bucket entirely, just because it's so nice to I can just set it and just walk away and set an alarm to come back, you know, 3 hours later or whatever, and then just shut it off and just let it do its thing. So that in itself is pretty handy, but you kind of always got to be around anyways. But anyhow, that's the initial thoughts on that. Hopefully we'll get to do a little bit more here as the summer goes on. We are going to try a brisket in it here, and I think next week the plan is to do chicken wings and some chicken breasts on there as well. So the only thing that I don't like about this is there's no rotisserie option at all. So I might have to build something, and if I do that, I'll definitely share that with you. I have some ideas in mind on something that might be a really cool build, so I'll keep you guys posted on that if I ever do get around to doing it. But anyhow, this video has gone on long enough. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you for the next one.